I am now going to talk to you about AdaptCHECK. AdaptCHECK was introduced in SunCheck 5.1 and it was our first step into adaptive radiotherapy QA. It essentially allows SunCheck patients to plug into the Ethos treatment delivery unit. This allows us to support not just the initial plan, but the scheduled and the adapted plans for secondary dose calculation, as well as pre-treatment and in vivo QA. So replicates a lot of what we can do in SunCheck Patient, specifically on the Ethos machine. Due to a dedicated calculation server and some back-end work that has gone on, the calculation time is now under 90 seconds, giving you a rapid dose calculation for those adapted and scheduled plans. This means that you get the same quality from our collapse cone superposition algorithm, but you get the results much quicker, which is important in that online adaptive radiotherapy environment. Let's switch gears into the SunCheck platform and see how this looks into the software. The first thing that I want you to note is that the AdaptCHECK functionality will sync with your main department database. So that means you do not need an island of SunCheck, potentially a second SunCheck environment in your department. Your main department's database for SunCheck can be your database for your AdaptCHECK results. So it means you can review them from anywhere rather than having to go down to that specific LINAC and view the results on that treatment console. So we can see here the results from some of the most recent events, and the idea is that we can get an idea of those results, whether it's passed, failed, and the results for the targets, OARs, and the overall gamma, just from this little snapshot here. If I go into the patient workspace and I filter by my Ethos machine, I'll be able to see all my patients and where those patients are up to on their journey, including what adapted plans have been QA'd. So let's have a look and see how one of those will look. So this is the secondary dose calculation of the initial plan. And this is the first bit of functionality that would be included in the AdaptCHECK package. This package was designed to match what Mobius Adapt does, but hopefully have some additional things in there as well. So you would have your traditional dose check, including your point dose, your targets and structures specific analysis. You'd have your overall gamma, your DVH, etc., as you would be used to, and your overall image, your subnuclear calculated, your planning system dose, and the gamma map difference between the two. Everything you would expect from a dose check on a plan. Of course, this one will be used on the Ethos machine. As you go through a treatment course on an Ethos machine, you get the option to use the scheduled plan, which is the initial plan, but calculated on today's anatomy. You also get the option to adapt that plan to today's anatomy and hopefully improve it. We calculate both of those plans in under 90 seconds. If you wish to not use the scheduled plan and have the results so that it does not need to calculate both, then you can decide to switch off the calculation on the scheduled plan. Our feedback has been that Ethos users will almost always use an adapted plan, therefore they don't need to waste time waiting for that scheduled plan to calculate. We can see here in the adaptive plan's results, the results for the targets, for the organs at risk, the overall gamma, the DVH, and of course the image at the bottom, same as dose check, calculated on the subnuclear calculation, the eclipse plan, and of course the gamma map in between. Going beyond that, we can do the pre-treatment and of the in vivo results. So this is a log file calculation, and we will calculate on the image that is used on the Ethos that day. So again, we will take that log file delivery and we will calculate the results on the targets, the organs at risk, the overall gamma, the DVH, and of course those results on that plan. One of the really cool things about bringing in the log files and using them for the dose calculation is this statistical log file analysis that was also brought in this release is also applicable for your ethos deliveries. So you can see not just what the result, the 3D dose was for your log file, but you can also see the performance of individual parameters, such as your MLC root mean square error for each leaf. And notice we have 4 lines on this graph, and that is to denote the proximal and the distal MLCs on the A and the B bank, along with a whole range of other statistical analysis on different parts of that treatment log file. So the package for AdaptCHECK, the idea is that it will take you from your initial plan, secondary dose calculation, any pre-treatment QA, what we would call fraction 0, your scheduled and adapted plan for individual fractions alongside the fraction n log file calculation for that delivery. That is the package of AdaptCHECK. A really cool thing that I wanted to highlight is that that package was designed to match Mobius Adapt, but we can go beyond that. So if you also want to have plan check on your ethos plans, we can do that. So that includes things like your dosimetric goals. We can even do the feasibility dose prediction on your plan, so you can compare it against your dose prediction. And then a whole range of plan parameter checks, structure checks, and deliverability checks, including complexity metrics. So a really nice thing that you can upgrade your AdaptCHECK package to also include plan check. The other option that you can upgrade to is, if you wish, you can get a Monte Carlo dose calculation for your initial dose check plan. So you could upgrade to the SciMocha Monte Carlo for your initial dose check event as well, if you wish to upgrade to that as well.